Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
What up? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Turn on post notifications. If you're in need of commercial insurance for your semi-truck, box truck, or cargo van business, there's a link in the description below for Log Rock. Up for renewal, looking for a cheaper commercial insurance solution. Make sure you guys click that link in the description below for Log Rock. Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. How's everybody doing this Saturday afternoon? Shout out to Freeman's Freight. Shout out to Kelvin Birch. Kelvin said it's 40 degrees in Houston. That ain't bad. It's above freezing. It's like -6 right now where I'm at. So shout out to Jay Positive. What's going on? Shout out to Beats. Freeman said I ain't caught him alive in a minute. Been having to go back and watch, but I'm all caught up. What's the word? Chilling. Y'all saying y'all iced out in the DFW. It's like 40, 50 degrees down there, right? 32 degrees below is the freezing point. Y'all can't have no ice if it's 40-something degrees. What's the weather down there? Shout out to Thomas Fowler, Huntsville, Alabama. How's everybody feeling? Who's this? Noto Markstrom, yeah, it's time to get rid of the foreign brokers that are not based in the USA. We need to get rid of all brokers. Okay. 10-4. Mark. How did I skip over this? Mark, I know you saw my email, boss. Please touch on that. I'm trying to see if that was illegal or not. Maybe when did you send me an email? What was wrong? I haven't looked at any emails. I had to do a service call this morning. I had to call us. I had to get some shit repaired this morning, emergency. So I haven't looked at any emails because I was taking care of my own business. So, cold weather brings issues. So I've been dealing with that since early this morning. And that just got resolved maybe like 2 hours ago on a weekend short notice service call. So I haven't read any emails. So I don't know what you're talking about. PM. I gotta go take a look at it, see what you're talking about. Let's see. Nope, I've never had anything freeze up on no trucks. You said it's 25 in the DFW. Okay, well 25 degrees is cold. This guy talking about after the broker takes their piece, then the dispatcher gets a piece, then the factor incoming gets a piece, then you have fuel and repairs. There's not a lot. No, sound like you got a lot of people in your pocket. Some of them people you don't even need in your pocket. So I don't know. I don't know, big dog. Never seen this person in the chat before. So shout out to Jonathan. Shout out to Heat Watchers business as well. Overhead and debt is low. That's the key to surviving in tough markets. 100% agree. It's 66 degrees where I live. LOL, I miss the Midwest, but not the winter. Come on, big dog. The best part of the Midwest is the winter. When I get off this lab, I'm gonna bundle up. I'm gonna hit the streets. I'm gonna hit the streets as soon as I get off this lab, and I'm still going to make it to the gym. I'm gonna make it to the gym. I'm gonna run my errands. I'm gonna hit the streets. You did. The winter time is when you can get the flyest. It's where you can pull out all the shit. You could pull out the Canada Goose. You could pull out the Moose Knuckles. You could pull out all the fly shit in the wintertime, big dog. It's when you get this is when you get to this is the best shit about the Midwest. Shout out to Ty. What is this guy talking about? Let me see something. Do. Watch how fast rates go up when shippers and brokers are afraid their loads will get stuck at way stations. All right, bro. Sound like you might be on the wrong channel, big dog. Like we don't like over here. We ain't like we don't preach fear and shit like that. We don't worry about these types of things that you putting in the chat. Like these types of things that you putting in the chat, like that shit is for like shit for people that just don't understand business and how to navigate and shit like that. So I don't know. You dig? I don't know about all that, but man. Anyway, Q&A show. We're gonna do about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the phone lines. You could put it in the chat, and we'll drop linkage too. We'll do all three. So we're gonna do chat, we're gonna do phone, and we're gonna do linkage. So let me put it. Either call, let's see, 312-772-5483 or click link. Link here. Just put that there. Or ask in the chat. Put that there. That. And let's pin that to the top. We got a poll there too, but oh well. All right. All right, so man, all right, let's get started. Imagine how much better the box truck business would be without brokers. Do. All right, Q&A. We're gonna do it three ways. You got three options. You could either call, you could hit the link, which is in the pin to the top, numbers pinned to the top, or we'll do it in the chat. However you guys want to do it, no matter. Man, bro, you talking about a lot of I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't like this shit you talking about. Like, I don't I don't really like, on the real. Like the people that watch me for the most part ain't failing, bro. We don't worry about things that we can't control. We don't worry about that type of shit. We know how to work around things. We know how to make sure that we get our piece. We know our cost. We not worried about what other people are getting. We never worried about that shit. I never worried about it with a 3PL taking 50%. I don't care. That's their money. I have to worry about my money, my cost. What I'm getting offered or what's available on the table, is it profitable or is it not? This is what it is. It's what it is. It's the industry. It's been operating like this for years. I like this shit has been going on 45 years, bro. Like, what are we talking about? This broker shit has been going on for the most part of 45 years, going on 46 years. So if you're within 46 years old, you came into the industry and brokers were in place, you understood that, you should have created a plan to navigate with how the industry operates. Like you can't complain about something that was probably in place before you were born. I don't get it, bro. Like it's just like complaining about bills, like property taxes. Like, dude, you can't. You go out and you buy something, a home, and property taxes have been in existence for way longer than your existence, and then you complain about property taxes, but you knew you were gonna have to pay property taxes when you bought a place. Like I don't understand that, bro. Like what are we complaining about? You started driving. You still driving, big dog? You started driving in 1985 and you still out there? That's 40 years. That's 40 years, big dog. What's going on? Man, you might need to tap in, bro. Something ain't right. If you telling the truth and you've been out here 40 years driving and you still driving, then man, you might want to tap in, bro. Something ain't right, bro. Where the money go? Where the money go? You done fucked up the church's money somewhere. Yeah, you done fucked up the church's money. 40 years. And you still out here in these streets moseying? You still moseying? You still moseying after 40 years? Something ain't right. You hold on. So you've been trucking since 1985 and you complaining about a broker? That says a lot about you. I listen, all due respect. I respect my elders. But if you've been trucking since 1985 and you 60 years old, I'm just keeping it a buck. That says more about you than it does about brokers. And these are just facts. You've had multiple errors of upside. You've had multiple errors of upside. Bro, listen, I've dealt with 3PLs that took 45, 50% of the money and I still made a killing. 3PL is like a broker. And they take 45, 50% of the money. Still made a killing. So, you know, to be behind of a wheel of a truck for 40 years and in year 40, 41 complaining about broker, that says a lot. I'm just keeping it a buck. So, I don't know. Shout out to Horseman in the building. Long time no see. Finally caught a live. You're right, Mark. Winter is when you show out, but it's not the best about Midwest. F winter. Truck broke last night. Stuck for 5 hours before told I'm moving to Texas. Shit, nigga. I woke up this morning and I'm like, damn, it's a little chilly in this motherfucker. I had to call out Four Seasons to come and check my furnace. It was a little clog in it. It wasn't that bad. It was just a little clog, but shit, you know, the wintertime is, you know, when shit happens, that's why you gotta have money. Money for when shit happens. So that you can get emergency tow, you can get emergency repair. That's just a part of being an owner, part of being a boss. You dig? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen. It's unfortunate when it happened, but you know, that's why we gotta make sure we cross our T's and we dot our I's. So when things happen, we can just go ahead and make the proper arrangements and call the people we need to call and keep it moving. That's all. Hey, listen, bro. Listen. You sound like you wanna like you wanna. I think low key this. I don't even think this is like a real person. This might be like a troll or something. I was retired, then I got with a young woman that has children, so now I had to go back to work. Oh, well, if you telling the truth, big dog, then you know it goes back to what I said 5 minutes ago. You know, it says a lot about you as an individual. That has nothing to do with a broker. Has nothing to do with it, bro. It just has something to do with you. It all goes back to you. Like I said 5 minutes ago. You now with that, if what you're saying is factual, you just even further prove my point. So if there was any doubters out there 5 minutes ago when I said that's something about you, I'm pretty sure I'm weighing more in their favor now with what you just said right there. You know, you retired and you get with a chick with kids, and then you go back to work to take care of a woman and somebody else's kids after being retired. That says a lot about you, big dog. They don't say that ain't got shit to do with a broker. It's got a lot to do with you. You dig what I'm saying? Cause if you over the road, that mean you with the chick, you ain't getting no punani. You ain't getting the punani. So now you got with the chick to go back out. You got with the chick probably to get the punani. But she done brought her kids. So now you got to go back over the road to take care of her and her kids. So now you still ain't getting no punani. But now you got to go back to work and she living off you with her kids and she probably, man probably there right now. I'm just keeping it a 1,000 with you, big dog. So if you over here trolling, then you know I control back. But I'm pretty going. I guarantee you, I'm gonna be better at it than you. I'm gonna be better. So if you telling the truth, bro, then you need to, you need to get that simping up out your heart, and then you need to get this ism that I'm giving you, and you need to, you know, you know, you know, you dig what I'm saying? So I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm for professional American truck drivers. That's what I support. Me too. I support the ones that make good decisions. Now, if you make poor decisions, then that's on you. That's personal. It's truckers out here that are American that make good decisions. I'm with the American truckers over anybody else too, but it's a lot of American truckers that make poor decisions. And then they want to go blame brokers and they want to go blame this, but like you saying, you done got with the brawl. You done got with the brawl and you blaming. So you figured a way to retire from trucking, but then the brawl is what got you back out here. You want to blame the broker instead of blaming the brawl. You want to blame the broker instead of blaming the brawl. That's what I'm saying. Broker ain't got nothing. It's the brawl. All right, well then if she makes 70, why you back out here? Let her take that 70 and take care of them kids, and then you just go ahead and leave 40 on the nightstand and call it a day. You could have still been retired. You did? What we talking about? If she makes 70, then she should be able to take care of them kids, and you shouldn't have had to come back out here at your old age to take care of her and them kids. You should just you should have enough for a little trick off bill. You deserve it. You old enough to have your little trick off bill. Your trick off bill shouldn't be to the point where you got to come back out here in your old age and go back to work. What we talking about? Man, you might be on the wrong channel, bro. You on the wrong channel. I can thank the American. Thank you for what? What am I thanking you for? What am I thanking you for, man? What did the American trucker do for me personally? You want me to thank you because you back out on the road because you got with a woman and her kids and you had to come back out here? You want me to thank you for what? Okay, brokers are the problem. All right. Cool. Now that we got that out the way, brokers are the problem, bro. Cool. I'm with it. That's what you wanted me to say. I'm with that. Whatever. Well, you're the only box truck driver I ever heard say they made a killing, bro. Household goods and final mile is different from OTR, bro. My main bread and butter is household goods. I'm dealing directly with a consumer. No middleman. My final mile business, they were taking 45, 50%, depending on the 3PL, and I still made money. Why? Because I operate at volume. I operate at scale. I don't have a minimalist mindset. I don't have a poor mindset. I understood very early on in household goods and in final mile that you make money at scale. One truck wouldn't give me what I wanted. I realized that. I realized the lifestyle that I wanted to live, the shit that I wanted to acquire, it had to be at scale. So that's what I set out to do. And that's what I did. Reason why you see a lot of box truck guys fail, one, from what we see, they don't understand cost. Matter of fact, we see most people, we see truckers. I had a trucker up here the other day, didn't know cost. We had one up here last month, didn't know cost. They don't even know what it is. They don't even understand why they need to understand it. I tell you one thing though, I ain't never counted another man's pocket, and I ain't never let another man stop me from getting to where I need to get to. You ain't never heard me complain about no shit. I feel like if you in business, you complaining about other people and other things that are already in place, then that says a lot about the individual. You dig? So I don't know, but man, anyway, this is a Q&A show, man. This ain't like a bash broker show, bro. Like it's other channels, it's broker channels that you could go and debate with them and bash them, and they'd love to go back and forth with you. I don't do that. You know, we don't care about that shit over here. So, all right, this is a Q&A show, man. Link is pinned to the top of the chat if you want to hit the link. You want to call in, number is on the screen, and you can ask in the chat. You know, so that's okay. You keep living the dream, but foreign drivers, foreign brokers, and foreign companies are the problem. Cool, bro. Cool. They the problem, bro. They the problem. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. I'm just checking, make sure I didn't miss any questions while I was going back and forth. Hey man, look, you typing a lot, bro. If you want to talk, you can call the number, bro. But I can't keep you holding up the Q&A, bro. It's people that want to like ask questions, bro. Like you want to talk about brokers, bro. And I don't really care about brokers, bro. I never had to deal with a broker. The most I've had to deal with is a third party logistics. So like if I was an OTR guy, I would be successful. If I came into OTR right now, I would be 100% successful dealing with brokers. I wouldn't care if they was Pakistani, Indian, African, Mexican, Nigerian, American. I wouldn't care. You know why? Because I would know my costs. I would know what it cost me to operate, and I would know how to win. I wouldn't be out here running just to be running, not understanding cost. So it don't matter to me, bro. I feel you, but you on the wrong channel, man. It's channels that would love to have like sit there and kumbaya with you and just bash people and shit, and y'all could do that shit, but I don't really understand I don't even care. Clearly, you don't watch my channel because if you knew, you would know who I voted for. So when you keep talking about foreign shit, you clearly don't watch my channel because you clearly would know who I voted for, and you wouldn't even be coming at me like this. Or you ain't coming at me, you wouldn't even be wasting your time typing all this shit. You see what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I don't care about like all that shit you typing. Like that shit don't mean nothing to me. About foreign people and shit like that. I don't care about that shit. Yeah, that shit fucking with you. That shit ain't fucking with Big Mark. It was a foreign guy here this morning working for me. As a fact, it was 3 foreign people here working for me because my contractors was here. They was Polish. One of them didn't speak English. And then the guy that came and serviced my furnace, he was Hispanic. And his English was broken. They work for me. You dig what I'm saying? They work for me. The brother, the black man. See, we reverse it over here. We reversed it. We reversed it. I had 3 foreigners in here today. Sure did. See how we flipped the script. Oh shit. Can you talk about different jobs than? Let me put it on the screen. Can you talk about different jobs that can be done during the slow season? I have 3 trucks already doing final mile. I just wanted to see what other ideas you think you could supplement with. You doing final mile? You could. Well, what market are you in? What market are you in? Off a line? Yeah, you gotta come into the Discord. You gotta come into the Discord. Uh-huh. Dude, I'm not looking at my email right now, bro. I'm on a live stream. You want me to stop and look at my email for you? Like, not like you a bad guy or something, but bro, I'm doing something right now. I haven't looked at any emails today. I've been busy. I haven't looked at, dude. You think I just sit here and wait for emails to come in, bro? I had shit I had to do this morning and this afternoon, bro. Like I have a life, bro. You know, like bro, you want me to just stop and just be your servant? Like no, bro. I'll look at the email. Well, I'll look at my emails sometime today, or if not today, if I don't get to it, because when I get off the stream, I told you I got a shit to do. I got some errands to run. I'm gonna go to the gym. I got shit to do. See what I'm saying? This is why I don't do the paid mentorship. Well, you send me an email for free and you want me to just stop and doing what I'm doing. Now imagine if I had a mentorship. Imagine. This is what I'm talking about. Imagine if I had a mentorship and somebody paid me. They would just want you to stop doing what you do. See how demanding people are? You demanded me to go look at my email for free. This is why I don't do mentorships, for this reason right here. Well, imagine somebody paying you an exorbitant amount of money. They're going to want you to stop whatever it is you're doing to service them. No. That's why I don't do it. I get it, but I'm not looking at my emails right now, big dog. I'm on the stream looking at questions here, bro. If you got the number here, you got the link there, and you could put that shit right here or whatever. You said you got a 12-foot, 16-foot, and a Sprinter. High roof? Where you at, though? You didn't tell me where you were at. Oh, I'm delivering tires. I'm located in Atlanta. Deliver all the way to... Wait, who was the guy that said they need something for the winter? Oh, that's this guy. You probably could do like small little delivery jobs. I would sign up for Thumbtack and try to deal directly with some consumers. You might want to sign up for some gig apps too. Curri, maybe. That way you can list your drivers on there. I'm not reacting to nothing today. That was yesterday, big dog. But I'm gonna take a look at it. But I'm not reacting to anything. Today is a Q&A show, not a reaction show. Yeah, today is a Q&A. It was Box Truck, bro. He posted a video of him illegally. Yeah, you should have sent it yesterday, big dog. Should have sent it yesterday. And today is a Q&A, bro, not a reaction. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. You said Mark got everybody pressing. Where I see that at? I told you a month or two ago. I said January get critical. I said you get the most trolls. Didn't I tell y'all that beginning of last month? I said every January you're gonna get the most trolls. You're gonna get the most this. You're gonna get the most negativity because that's when people start failing. It gets really, really slow. Money dries up. It gets fucked up out here, and that's when people start to realize they fade. It's over with. So then they want to come and they get mad and shit like that. I told y'all this last month. Remember I told y'all that? It's been like that all January. In about March, things, seasonality starts to kick in and, people start, seeing some signs of relief. They get better. But in January, bro, it get fucked up. I told y'all last month. That's why I just be chilling. Cause I already know I've been doing this. I'm going into 4 years doing content, and every January, this is what happens. Motherfuckers be fucked up out here. They ain't got no money, bro. I get it. Get it. They get to complaining about shit that don't matter and brokers and all this shit. Like, what you want me to like? I don't care, bro. Like, start waking up, they be feeling that it be tight right here every day. Like right here, it be tight and shit. And just a lot of depression and shit, bro. Like, what you want me to do about it? All right. I need advice. Why are you writing in all capital letters, man? You need advice for reefer loads with reefer box trucks? You got to talk to somebody that do reefer, bro. I ain't never owned a reefer truck in my life. You got to find well, I don't know if there's one out there, but you got to find somebody that do reefer, bro. Trolls paying the bills, Brody. What bills they paying? If you don't have trolls, you don't have anything. Remember, I ain't tripping on them. I interact with the trolls because I know that they ain't got shit else better to do. It's January. If they had something better to do, they would be doing it. They ain't paying no bills though. I'm just helping them out. You know what I'm saying? Because you know they want breakdown away or one something away from just being out the business anyway. So it's just what it is. But if I was you, I remove them caps before Pippi get rid of you. If I was you, I would stop typing in capital letters before Pippi have a way with you though. So, or one of the other moderators. So, I see John in here telling you now. Yep. So if I was you, I'd stop with them caps. Um. I wish Big Vic would do a video on his experience with reefer and how it's affected his business with Amazon now that they don't allow them anymore. Dry goods. You know, you like the third person to mention that to me. On him talking about that. He's probably not gonna talk about it. Man, listen, Nightcrawler and some of you guys, y'all been watching content in this space long enough to know how the content creators that's still active, you know, motives and, you know, how you present content and what you present it for, so on and so forth. So, you know. So, y'all gotta ask him that when you do a Q&A. If you do one. Let me see. Just questions, Q&A. All right. Link is pinned. Phone number is up, or you can put them in the chat. Did I answer this one? Hey, Mark, is there any way to talk to you off the air? Need some advice on my business. Yeah, you're going to have to come in the Discord, big dog. If you were ever over the road, you would know what I'm talking about. With foreign drivers, just because something's in place doesn't make it right. Man, it's a lot of stuff in place, and I know he probably gone. I'm just reading this. It's a lot of shit in place that you may feel that's not right, but you got to pay it. Like, I feel like if you buy a property and you own it, why do you got to pay tax on it? And if you don't pay the tax, even though the property's paid for, you going to lose it in a tax sale. It's a lot of shit that it's there that you may not feel is right, but it's there. We all see things and deal with things that we feel isn't right, but we still have to do it. You know why? Because it's beyond our control. I listen, I've never been a person, I've said this many times because I was raised. Don't worry about things that's beyond your control. You'll worry yourself into an early grave. That's why you got people walking around looking older than what they are, because they worry about things that they can't do shit about. I don't worry about nothing that I have no control over. It's just how I was raised. It's what it is. Things are in place. If I invest into a business, if I come into a trucking business, OTR, and you understand that you're dealing with a load board, and you understand that there's brokers in play, and you understand that there's a cost that's associated with it, they're going to see their money before you. They're going to get a percentage of that. It's just what it is. You accepted that. So why accept something and then complain about it? You still got to figure out a way to navigate through it. Now, I know it's people watching and they just disagree with it, but that says a lot about you. Go look at your cable bill and look at all the taxes. Go look at all your electric bill and look at all the taxes. Go look at your gas bill and look at all the taxes. Go look at some other bills and just look at all the shit that they charge you for. But you pay it. You have no control on it, over it. You know what? You can control your business. Understand your costs. Know what it costs you to operate your business, and if things don't make sense for you, don't do it. The shit that makes sense for you, do it. That's it. If you don't want to deal with brokers, find you a consumer that you can deal directly with. Make sure you have the infrastructure to meet the needs of that consumer. I tell you one thing, it's going to be hard probably in most cases with one truck. So that means you got to work towards it. You got to work towards whatever it is you're trying to work to or get rid of. You want to get rid of a broker, then you need to put yourself in a position where you don't have to deal with brokers. That's the solution. I would never complain about something that I have no control over. I would create a solution for it. That's it. That's just like a gigger who's complaining about DoorDash. I just seen DoorDash. Like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? DoorDash got all the fucking contracts with all the restaurants. If you walk into McDonald's, if you walk into Burger King, if you walk into Wendy's, if you walk into Five Guys, if you walk into Wingstop, if you walk into Hooters and say, hey, I want to do delivery directly for you, they're going to say, nah, we deal with DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Why would we deal with you? We got 10 orders right now. You can't suffice all 10 orders simultaneously. And if we gave you all 10 orders, 9 of these people's food is not going to be as fresh and as hot. But you know what? By us dealing with three different apps, they got a bunch of use. So we're going to have 9 other people that are pulling up right there in the parking lot that's going to come get these 9 other orders simultaneously. These 10 people are going to get their delivery at the same time. Why would we deal with you? But guess what? Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash, from the last I researched, they was taking 30%. They have the platform. They have something that you don't. They have the relationship. They have the platform. They have the infrastructure. You don't have that. I don't hear you going to complain at DoorDash. Man, they're taking 30%. All right, well then build the next DoorDash. Build the next C.H. Robinson. What the I like, bro, like you complaining all that time and brain cells and energy wasted complaining about some shit that you can't control, nor do you probably have the resources to build something to compete or replace it. So why complain about it? I just don't. You know, I'm not a complainer, bro. Like I said, I was raised to not worry about shit that you can't control, bro. You can't control it, bro. What is this Carlos dude talking about? You gotta wait your turn. I'm going in order, bro. I'm going in order. What you mean last warning? Who is he talking to? Is he talking to me? Last warning, question mark, question mark. Who is he talking to? Mark, I respect what you do, game, but if I have a question, I'm gonna ask. What is he talking about? Who is he talking about? Who is he talking to in the chat? Oh, he talking to you. What are y'all talking about? All right. What's a good? Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back in order. I'm going down the line. Hold on. Let's see. How do you feel about the gig market, Mark? Like not just Uber, DoorDash, but gig as a whole. I think it's good to supplement. I don't think it's good to like try to do full time and you're not going to be able to build a life. You're not going to be able to sustain a life at the current cost or the future cost of living. I know it's people out there and say, oh, this is the way to go. It's better than a job. But tell me how you can get a house with a gig. Tell me how you can save money and invest with a gig. Most giggers is just trading their time for instant liquidity. That's it. You're just trading your time for instant liquidity. And a big portion of that money was the cost that it took you to get it. And then whatever you have left, you're just spending it on whatever shit you need to get by. And the hamster wheel continues. That's it. That's how I feel about it. I think it's there to supplement. I think it's there to supplement something else. Um, you said you still, I'm still delivering with Amazon and Roadie on the gig side, but aside from gigs, I do moving help as helpers only and lawn care, but I don't have a truck yet. I'm still starting with my car, and I got started towards the end of last summer with both. Okay. Um, you in Chicago. Uh, mm, what's a good mileage range looking at M2? I've always purchased somewhere between 175 and 250. Search on the internet, bro. Go to like cars.com and shit like that and do put a radius in. Now, I can tell you one thing, it's a lot of used cargo vans up in the Midwest, just like it's a lot of used trucks. And then when I was comparing costs, like they cheaper up here too. How do I feel about Corey punching that girl and not the guy? Sucker shit. I think anybody that punch a girl is a sucker. DoorDash might be out of here, be out in the next 5 years. And as far as Uber, maybe 10 to 15 years from now, not sure because Waymo will not last long either in transportation. I disagree with you. I disagree. I don't think Waymo is who you should be worried about replacing Uber drivers. I think Uber drivers should be more concerned with uh robo taxi. I think they should be more concerned with the Tesla ride share robo taxi. I'm thinking about buying a Tesla just to put it on the network, buying another one and putting it on the network. You know, you know. I think robo taxi is what Uber drivers should be concerned with. So, how much do they make with that freight app? I know I heard Midwest say he used it, but I feel like you wouldn't make enough money. It all depends on your market and what's offered to you. You know what I'm saying? So every market is different as far as the supply and demand. And then obviously, depending on supply and demand, it's going to determine the rates. How you feel about Penske versus Ideal Lease? As far as renting, I've never dealt with Ideal Lease. So I can only speak on experiences with Penske. I've never had any issues with Penske. I've never had any issues with Enterprise. I've never dealt with Ideal Lease. I'm able to save money, etc. But my car gets 60 miles per gallon when I apply for mortgage. When I applied for a mortgage, when I got back to Chicago, they told me clear some stuff off my credit. They were trying to use my past 2 years tax statements, gross value after deductions, which overall, after driving back into your channel for about a year and a half, I got right with the business structure and trying to build something I can take bids myself. Uh, hmm. All right. Phone number is open. Link is at the top, or you can put it in the chat. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Do I think robo cars will equal cheaper service? If not, they're gonna have, yeah, most definitely, because it doesn't require a human. Like, you could literally buy a Tesla, put it on the network, and make money. That's it. Do you want to turn it off? Turn it off. If you want to drive it yourself, drive it yourself. While you're at home chilling, nowhere to go, sleep, you turn it on, it'll drive itself to a destination, pick somebody up, and it'll keep doing it. When it's time to charge, it'll drive itself to the charging station, charge, and when you're done making money on the network, it'll come back home to you. The car pays for itself plus profits. You don't have to pay a human. So not only is it going to replace human drivers, yeah, you can it's gonna be cheaper because that human element, you're getting rid of it. If you don't want downtime, the only downtime is the charging and maintenance. So there's no clock that you gotta deal with as far as regulations, depending on what market you're in, 10 hours or whatever it is. There's none of that. So I think it's I think the early adopters will probably come out good on it. So Penske rental. Yeah, I've only dealt with Penske rental. I've never leased a truck. Only rentals. Uh, yep. So yeah, I think the robo taxis is going to do good. I think it's going to do good. So, and the tech in Teslas is better, Kelvin, than that lidar shit or whatever that is they got with the Waymo. So yeah, I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be a better product overall. Elon is doing a lot of changes over at Tesla. The autopilot and the full service, the full auto drive where the car drives itself fully. They changing that from a paid model, I think $8,000, to a subscription model. I think it's gonna be like a $99 or $199 a month. So you can't even buy that up front, preloaded and pre-updated into the car. They switching that to a subscription model, and that's what's going to take Elon to trillionaire status. So I don't invest in Tesla though. I'm not a Tesla investor. Mm-mm-mm. I could believe that. I could believe that. They're gonna look at robocars as a higher profit margin. I don't think they care about affordability. Based on what you know about my business, I'm starting. What's the biggest mistake you think I'm gonna make? Most likely to make in the next 6 to 12 months, and how would you avoid it? Well, based on my case studies of the thousands of people I've probably talked to. Oh, let's see. I talked to you the other day. You seem like you got a little common sense, so I think you'll understand cost. Now, will you be disciplined on keeping up, maintaining your cost? That's to be determined. Um, I don't know too much about you because you haven't disclosed much. But cost is the main thing. And then I did hear you mention that you had kids in the family, multiple kids at a young age. So it sounds like you got some responsibilities that if your business is struggling at the beginning, you're trying to conquer that learning curve. Having the money that you need to be able to survive the learning curve on those times where you might not be able to pay yourself because you have to reinvest back into the business, because it seems like you got some responsibilities. I think you said kids plural, and you 24 years old. So you know it's a lot of responsibility it seemed like you got on the personal side, big dog. So I don't know. That's the only thing I can really say based off what I know about you. I don't really know too much about you. Hey, Mark, I've been heavily investing in S&P for over 5 years, and it's been indestructible for me for the most part. Do you have any advice on some other mutual funds or investments? Yeah, but like I spoke on last week, I stopped saying shit like that on the live streams, bro. So I talk a little bit about that in the discourse, but I don't. A lot of people lately have been asking me, they want me to do that investment club, but I just don't. I just don't shout shit out no more on the live streams, bro. So you might catch me in the Discord. Actually, we were in the Discord last night, and one of the Discord members told me, like, Mark, I heard you on the live stream the other day about bringing the investment club back. He said, don't do it. He said, don't do it. So people in my Discord don't even want me to bring it back, bro. So I don't know. It's just something that I'm weighing on. But it's like somebody came to me in the Discord yesterday and said, don't do it. So but yeah, I don't give out. I don't throw those little tidbits out no more, bro. Sorry. If you lucky, you'll catch me in the Discord. We'll be chopping it up, but I don't throw them out on the channel no more. But the S&P though, what I can tell you, S&P is bulletproof. I mean, if you got a nice chunk of change in there, just leave it in there. Don't even just leave it in there. Just add to it, just leave it in there. You good. Mm. You said it's gonna be a problem because every business needs consumers. You can't have broke consumers. Not everybody is broke. And then you got people that are broke that find a way to stay broke or broker. So I think cars are going to, I think, and I was having a conversation this morning with someone. Um, the way things are looking, man, people ain't going to be able to afford cars, it seems like. Look at the repossessions now, and then look at people stretching their loans out for 144 months. People stretching their car loans out 12 years just to reduce the monthly note that they know they're not going to pay the car off. They're not even going to keep the car 12 years. So they keep it 3-4 years and they get into something else and they upside down and they just keep tacking that shit on to the next car. So the way things going, man, people ain't even going to be able to afford cars. So shit, robo taxis may be the most economic way for people to get around. So with the car and the insurance and I don't know, man. This is interesting. A lot of shit is interesting right now, man. I'm curious to see how shit is gonna go. People can't afford homes. They talking about 50-year mortgages and shit. We was talking about this in the Discord last night. We was talking about investment from a real estate perspective last night. I was in there last night for a little minute to about 10 o'clock, chopping it up. We was talking about real estate investment. You know, I was talking to the young blood, like, man, what we gonna do? My generation cook, man. We can't do nothing. No, I don't know, big bro. The robo taxi, the citizens in Houston might feel uncomfortable, especially in the traffic. Well, they already testing it down there, and wherever Tesla, where's Austin? They testing it in Austin right now. It's already down there in Texas. They testing it right now in Austin. Mm-mm. What's your outlook on self-driving trucks? I think we're still a ways away from that. Um, they'll eventually come, but I think we're still a ways away from that. I mean, as we get closer, then it's going to be the obvious. They're going to replace people. It's just the obvious. I don't think we're close to it now. You know what I'm saying? So, you got time, but, as that time gets close where you start to see them really, really roll out and shit like that, then what's known don't need to be explained, you know? Where do you live at? Oh, you said you live in Iowa or something? I feel like I'm the most worried because my market, I want to age my authority and go live in Texas. But you know what comes with that money cost of living in Texas. Yeah. So you live in Iowa to go to Texas, so you're gonna have a higher cost of living. And you got a family and kids. Bro, that's something that you gotta figure out, bro. You need to lower you need to coming in new, you need to lower your cost of living. So, you know, going to Texas, depending on where you're going, if you're going to Dallas or Houston, then coming from where you coming in Iowa, yeah, your cost of living is gonna go up, big dog. So sound like you're gonna have to save up a nice chunk of change. You think AI is gonna cause some type of credit or universal income? I keep hearing about this universal income. We'll see. As my startup, I plan to leverage credit to acquire business funds. I wouldn't do it, but if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I would come in with cash. I wouldn't leverage any credit, but I know y'all like to use the credit game. So I learned to just, tell people what I would do and just not tell people I'll just say what I would do. I'm not gonna tell people they shouldn't do this or they shouldn't do that. Or fuck that shit. I'm straight. I'm just gonna tell people what I would do or wouldn't do and the reasons why. Airbnb was cheap at first. Now it costs as much as a hotel. I never stay in an Airbnb. Me personally, I'd rather stay in a hotel. Everybody and their mama want to come down. Yeah, Houston is burnt up now. They done burnt Houston up. Yeah, y'all getting all the people coming from everywhere. It was Atlanta at first. Now it's Houston. So, hmm streaming was cheaper than cable. Now it costs more than cable to have every service. You can't even watch NBA without having. Yeah, you can't even watch a local game no more. You got to have some type of streaming service. Yep. Hell no. The used cars, especially if it's over 100,000 miles, charging the consumers like over 25 when the cars is like 10 years. What's going on, Marie? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it's a lot of money in Texas, more than Iowa for sure. But you plan on being an OTR driver. So, right? Yeah, the people that live down in Texas, they telling you what to do. I don't live down in Texas, so I can't tell you. But Beats is telling you, and Delani is telling you, and I don't live in Texas. You know what's funny? I was looking at these tiny homes on Home Depot's website earlier today. Really overpriced. I was looking at one for $106,000. It looked real nice and shit, but why would I pay $106,000 for a frame? And I did the math. Okay, still got to buy the lot. Still got to buy the lot. Still got to pay the taxes. $106,000 for the frame. Mm-mm. Didn't seem appealing to me. But the homes that the boomers built, well, I don't know. Well, you know what? You here in Chicago, so look at the homes here. Look at the apartment buildings. They're brick. Now you have to think when these homes were built, post the Great Chicago Fire, after Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over the lantern and burned Chicago down, right? So all the buildings you see were built pretty much after the Great Chicago Fire, right? But to build these buildings or purchase these buildings in comparison to what people were making back then is way different than purchasing a building or a home now, right? With the current income that a person is bringing in, it's a big difference. That gap is it's huge. So even I know you're young. I think you're like 20, early mid 20. So even buying a home, in the 90s from now, a home in the 90s, an average bungalow here in Chicago in the 90s, 50, 60,000. That same bungalow now is about 250, 275. So, going back 10 years prior to that 59, $60,000 bungalow in the 90s was 30,000. 70s, 20,000, 20, 30,000. Right? But then you can go back and you can say, okay, a guy that was a trucker was making more then, right, than a trucker that's making now. Obviously, gross it was less, but that money took you further because inflation was way lower than what it is now. So now a person who was making more then, let's say as a trucker than a trucker now, and the home was 200, $300,000 less. This is why the boomers have a lot of money. I don't know no boomer that ain't paid. They got old pensions. They got a few different properties in their portfolio. They're paid. To me, honestly, as a working generation, I think the boomers and early Xers were the last generations to get rich off of work, off of working jobs. So we was literally talking about this last night in the Discord. Like you now, 24, 25. That's why I'm like gigging and shit like that, bro. We looking at a starter home, bro, like 350, bro, 325, 350. You see what I'm saying? So shit. You ain't gonna get that gigging, I tell you that much. Uh Outside of furniture and appliances, can you name other white glove fields I can search. I just parked my 24-foot truck, crew cab box truck, and employed at printer installation. You can look for one man, you can look for one man curbside opportunities, just mixed pallet opportunities. They're scarce, but that's another final mile niche you can get into. Curbside, one man, mixed pallet, mixed pallet freight. If you got, I don't know where you're at, but another one is cabinets. If you can find a cabinet company down there, that can provide you a lot of opportunity. One man cabinet delivery. Mm-mm-mm. So you was looking at yeah, I was looking at them earlier too on Home Depot website. I have a crib in Louisville. Home Depot super upcharges them. You have to get them directly from the source. They're like 20 to 30K. What's the source? All right. Phone number, link, and you can put the questions in the chat, Q&A. You know what this is saying? With not many Q&A, and I'm just telling you this from just doing the creation thing for the past 4 years, so I understand the different cycles of people coming in. It's not a lot of questions. Normally in January, you get a lot of tax people, right? And this is when they start watching content. This has been the slowest new entrant January that I've seen since I've been doing this. Normally in January, you just get a bunch of new people. Man, I'm waiting on my tax money, man. I'm finna come in March. I'm about to come in March. About to come in end of February. Every year it gets the hype, it gets less and less and less. This is the lowest I've seen it. This is the lowest I've seen it. So it says a lot. It says a lot. It says a lot. Do. You gotta talk to Kirk about partialing, big dog. You gotta find Kirk. You gotta find Kirk, bro. You gotta go find Kirk for the partial shit. You gotta beg him. You gotta go beg Kirk. Yep. So you notice a lot of people not talking about taxes. Space is dead, bro. In comparison to what it was the last few, well, it's been going down. You know, you know, cost of entry is still there, even with people trying to come in for the cheap $1,000 and shit like that. That $1,000 shit now is a lot to a person. Shit, it's messed up out here in these streets. Rough. You said people are afraid they don't want to get clipped up. Oh, that's what it is. Too bad. They ain't gonna get no. They ain't gonna have a chance to talk. Then ain't gonna get a chance to get the game. Ain't that right? 5.0. The game. That's what you was talking about the other day. The game. Nah, I'm in Plano, so love. So. Clip farming. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, I don't. That's not my. That's not my thing. So yeah, yeah. He gonna always be the biggest. He gonna always be the biggest. Yeah. Every time we would do cabinets, it only take one guy. Yeah. Most of the time, when cabinets get delivered, the contractor is there to receive them. It only take one man to do cabinets. Just for the most part, it's just a shell, you know. So yeah. You can have two guys, but I've done it plenty of times sending one guy. It all depends, but one guy do cabinets. A lot of times it's curbside because the contractor is there. Are you gonna get it? Oh boy, who stole your content? Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. I know who it is, and if I ever run across him, we come in the chat, I'll confront him. But for the most part, just nah. I mean, people gonna steal your shit, bro. It's just a part. I just realized it was a part of the game, like a few years ago when King Lotta was doing it. Until I had to pull up on him. Just people are gonna do it. Content is something that people, you know, do to supplement or they do to make money, right? But what happens is when they come over in this box truck space, they realize one, it's what they think they're gonna make, they not make it, and then they have to find content, right? If you haven't been doing this for a long time and you don't have experience, you ain't gonna have nothing to talk about. So they have to go find shit to talk about. They have to find shit to keep it coming out. So they start stealing the shit. And then they just end up quitting because they see even with stealing this shit, what they came for, it doesn't they don't get the results that they're looking for. You're not gonna make money doing box truck content. It's just not enough views. It's not enough views. It's not enough interest. It's a very small micro niche. So either you're doing it for to sell to create a base so that you can push them into other products that you sell offline. That's why when you see people, they saying, "Man, make sure you click this, click that." You doing it to give information and or give knowledge. You're not doing it to get rich. If you want to get rich, you got to do like what Anton and uh, Angry Man and shit. I don't know who. Let's see. Let's just do a random refresh on YouTube and see who pops up. Myron, Fresh and Fit. Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels was making $500,000 a month at one point when he was a living. Pop the Balloon. They making six figures a month. Who else? Uh Academics, he making six figures a month. O'Shea Duke Jackson, he making five figures a month. Flacco think Flacco said he made 90,000 a month. Now, what's the common denominator with the people I just named? I ain't gonna say Speed. He making millions. We know why. Let me see. I'm just scrolling. Trapwell Ross, Myron, The common denominator is all these people talk about current events, mostly urban entertainment, shit like that. Right? Because this is what people are interested in. So if you do a reaction to, what's the biggest thing that I saw today? I couldn't avoid it. I wasn't looking for it. I just couldn't avoid it. Everywhere I turned to today, Kai Sanat and the girlfriend. Now, the people who do that type of content and react to that, they're going to do 90, 100,000 views in 24 hours. That's going to equate to a couple $1,000. Right now, if they do like a academics or like a poetic Flocko or like a Anton Daniels, where you got 2-3 channels, and every 3 hours you drop in reaction content or you clip farming, and then each one is doing 80, 90, 100, 200,000 views in a day, and you doing that, you dropping videos every 3 hours on that channel is equating to 500,000 views a day, then yeah, you making money. I do a live stream and it may do 1,000 views. I average 1,000 views. And I showed what's his name the other day when he thought that. I showed him it's $3, bro. Uh, the entertaining content creators to do entertainment reactions and shit like that, they make a lot of money, but not gonna make no money getting 1,000 views, bro. Ashton Hall, right? Shit like that. Drama, hot topics. Yeah. So that's why you see everybody that's been reacting to the Corey Holcomb shit. That was a stimulus package for content creators who do that type of content. And if you notice, everybody that did that, for the most part, they've been really, really, really focusing on that because people are really interested in that drama, entertainment, shit like that. As far as box trucking, no, not no more. When I looked at the content from box trucking before I even started creating it, 2020, 2021, it was creators that were the opportunists that came into the space during that hot time, and then they did content, millions of views. Because everybody was interested in it. Why? One, they had the money. There's no interest now. So excuse me. You said you would love to see me get at him, huh? Yeah, I be trying to. Oh man, I ain't even got the phone number on, bro. Damn, bro, tweaking. The whole time sitting up here like call the number, it ain't even on. All right, phone line's on. My bad if you tried to call the number one on. I'm tweaking. I'm tweaking, bro. I gotta hit the tweaking
You
button.
tweaking.
My goofy ass.
Yo, goof ass. Goofy as hell.
Goofy as hell, boy. Sitting up here the whole time like, there ain't nobody called. Goddamn number ain't no. Shit. Nah, I ain't gonna get at him. I know you would love to see that. I know y'all want to see me, but I'm trying to. I don't. It ain't worth it, bro. Motherfucker gonna steal your shit. So how is the market for cabinets? I don't know. I could tell you this: the way the economy is, are a lot of people doing home repairs? Probably not. Home improvement. I meant probably not. My contractor was happy. Shit, I paid him cash. He was. So from what my contractor is telling me, he's okay, but my market shit. After he finished with me, he had a job in Lincoln Park, so he has a certain type of clientele. So, but I wouldn't expect overall home improvement to be up right now. So are people? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What I think about Box Truck Bros. He a cool guy. I mean, we've had a few conversations off the line. I mean, he gets a lot of hate, like he said on the channel when he came on over here. I mean, I've talked to him. He's reached out to me after that stream. We had a few conversations. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. I don't, whatever little difference we had, which is based off their reaction, y'all seen how that played out. And we've had like 2 or 3 conversations since then. So I don't think he's a cool person. Cool person. As a person, he's cool. Yeah. And he's a person that doesn't really engage with other content creators. So for me and him to, have a rapport, I think he's a cool person. I can see why he, he has a lot of subscribers, bro. So I can see why he may have issues with other people, but I don't hate or get upset because a person is successful, especially like in content creation, because I'm older. I think a lot of his hate from his peers that are like over there on Instagram and TikTok is because of the success he has. And they're looking for that same success. Me, I'm not active over there. I'm older, like influence, as far as subscribers and shit. So that that's why we can have a conversation, a pure conversation, you know what I'm saying, and still remain cordial and communicate after that conversation. Even within that conversation, we were able to come to a common ground. Right. So all the scammers ran out of tricks already. That's run is done. Yeah, I think a lot of the people that are coming in now, well, the far and few between that are coming in now, I guess they may do. I can't even say they do research. I just think I just think there's just not that many people coming in. But yeah, all the tricks are out, and all the people who were not providing value, that were just still able to monetize off courses and shit like that, because people were just buying anything. That shit is over with for sure. What promotions I do? Oh, well, yeah, I got sponsors. Yeah, I got sponsors. Still not profitable though. So, and guess what? It took me 3 years for somebody to say, "Hey, we'd like to put an ad on your channel." Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it don't pay the bills. And when I say bills, I'm talking about the bills to run my operation as far as my production to put this shit on. Still don't cover it. It helps. It helps alleviate, but it don't cover it in totality. No. So, but it took 3 years, and it took, a startup company that is looking for brand awareness. If they weren't looking for brand awareness, right, that would be different. 2, if it was 3 years ago, they wouldn't have picked me. The reason they picked me is because who else they gonna pick? There's nobody left. There's nobody around. But 3 years ago, they wouldn't have picked me because 3 years ago, y'all wouldn't have listened to nothing I had to say. Everybody was in euphoria. If I would have been creating content in 2021, 4 years now, if I would have been in this space in 2021, I would have been the most hated. Because I would be saying the same thing I'm saying now, and when nobody would have took heed to it because everybody was in euphoria. Look how ignorant people are now. So imagine the ignorance that existed when people were actually making money. Imagine explaining to a person why they were making money. Imagine me explaining what I'm explaining to people today, then why they were making money. They head up their ass now. So imagine how far people's heads was up their ass in 2021. When I did start creating content, people didn't like me. They deemed my content pessimistic. It wasn't optimistic because I was telling people the truth. People don't understand business, nor do they want to understand it. So I realized that I just had to let time do the work for me. And that was 2022. And here it is, 2026. I'm still here. And all those people have gone. Majority of them have failed. And that's that. So if somebody say, "Hey, Mark, we want to give you X amount of dollars to put this little watermark in the corner," okay. What can you do? I'm gonna say no. Look out of here. I'm gonna say no. Yeah, I'll put the watermark in the corner. Yeah. It depends, man. I would take my mechanic with me, and if he gave me the go ahead, then yeah. But would this if I was searching, would this be in my filter search 500,000 miles? Nah. Nah. Uh, uh, no, we didn't have a bad encounter. We just reacted to one of his videos. He don't take too kindly to people reacting to his content. I seen somebody else react to his content and seemed like they've been in a war ever since for the past 3 months. They kind of got real nasty. And I seen somebody else react to his stuff. Well, I heard about somebody else reacted to his stuff, but I seen a reaction. I seen a reaction about 3 months ago, and they've been at it ever since. It's pretty bad too, but yeah. So, but that's what happened. Me and Kurt reacted, and he got wind of it like 5 months later, and it was more so not what I was saying, more so what Kirk was saying, but I stood in the fire for it. So you got to go watch it to understand. I stood in the fire for it. And when I say stood in the fire, the conversation, if you go watch the conversation, Big Mark will always hold his own. But when I say stood in the fire, you got a guy with almost 1 million subs and influence. So those people that came from over there that don't watch YouTube, who don't know who I am, they automatically slot me in the category of hate, you know. And, I took the fire for a lot of the shit that was said on the show, not necessarily by me, but I'm on the show. So, I stood tall, and I knew that audience was going to come over. I knew majority weren't going to know me, and I knew it was just going to get what come along with it. And that's it. That's what it is, you know. So, but yeah, it was just a reaction. Uh, uh, uh damn, time flying. Yo, Mark, what do you think about older trucks before 2010? Shit, I still got 2 trucks before 2010. Think they great. uh, as a beginner, the S&P, you can't go wrong, bro. I don't know what market you in. My mom bought her house here in Chicago for $59,000 in 1992. So my mom bought her house for $59,000. That was about the going rate for bungalows in Chicago in the early 90s, about 60,000, 50 to $60,000 range. Because I remember I was 12, but I was going on all the showings with. She was a single parent, so she was dragging me and my brother. And I remember it vividly. So nah, here in Chicago, my OG paid 60, 59 in 92. So, so y'all trying to start mess. When y'all be asking about other people, y'all want to start mess, bro. Y'all gotta stop wanting to start mess. Think buying a cab and getting a box built, how much does it cost to get a box built? I don't know. I never had one built. I know U-Haul builds on their own box. I got a chance to go to one of their factories out in Sherville when I was a dealer. But I don't know. I don't know how much it costs to get a box built. Thanks a ton for answering my question. White glove appears to be where it's at. Like what you said years ago, I get it now. Delivering warehouse freight is too easy. That's why the pay is trash. What? What? Did you just give it a big up and shit it on it at the same time? Thanks a ton for answering my questions. White glove appears to be where it is, like what you said years ago. I get it now. Delivering warehouse freight is too easy. Oh, okay. That's why you saying Dr. Doc OTR. Yeah. 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 OTR, where you doing dot to dot? Yeah, it's simple. You're just driving. Anything the harder it is, the more specialized it is, the more the earning potential. So final mile is going to be more profitable than OTR. Household goods moving is going to be more profitable than the mall. There's no middleman, and it's a premium service. So I've been saying this shit like you said since I came on YouTube, and I always say this shit because I'm not gonna never let you forget it. Y'all used to make fun of me. Y'all used to come on when I used to come on do my little content back in 2022, trying to just figure out the whole little content thing. I said, man, I'm new. I'm a new retiree, so I'm just looking for a hobby, man. And I was introduced to this. Man, you should start doing some content, helping some young brothers out. So I comes do my little content. You dig what I'm saying? Trying to figure things out, feel my way around this space. And y'all went very nice to me, man. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. It's okay because you see it in it didn't hurt Big Mart. Big Mart just kept doing it, kept doing it. Y'all wasn't nice to me. Y'all was preaching Amazon and OTR because y'all still was getting that little trickle down a little bit still 2021. Y'all used to make fun of Big Mark. Yeah, I remember. I ain't forgot. I ain't forget. I ain't forget. Y'all used to tell me, make fun and talk about carrying refrigerators and all that shit. Yeah. Yep. I used to see y'all in the comment sections on the other content creators and shit. I seen all the little sneak disses and shit. I remember it all. I just kept held my head up and did my little content. Still put it out there. Told y'all weren't gonna see no peak season. Y'all call me a hater, call me bitter. Oh, his business must have failed. Y'all really didn't have all the receipts on Big Mark yet because I was still new, so I hadn't had out a lot of content, so wasn't a lot of receipts out there yet. Y'all was saying very disparaging things. Big Mark just still held his head up and still put out my little content. Then all of a sudden one day, a shift started to happen. And it never went back. Never went back to what people what people thought this industry was. What they thought their idea never went back to that. I started seeing a lot of things like, damn, that Mark the Mentor guy was right. Hey, that Mark the Mentor guy was right again. Guess Mark the Mentor was right. Started to see a lot of that. It went from a lot of that other thing to a lot of that. You know. Oh man. I don't think I would buy a truck with 500,000 miles, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Me personally, I would. No, I ain't talking about you. I'm just saying. When you said a few years ago, it just took me mentally. It took me back in time to when I was creating content around that time. I'm not saying you per se, but the general consensus of of my content during that time was what I just was reflecting on. That's how it was perceived. A lot of people were in euphoria. They were just in euphoria. They were just in a euphoric phase from that bubble. And you couldn't, like, people just didn't want to hear the truth or things that made sense because everybody was, you know, there were still people making money, and you couldn't tell them no wrong. Couldn't tell them no wrong. So yeah, but yeah, that was that time period. That was that time period. Said those guys weren't wise at all. It was a lot of newbies at that time, though. It was a lot of newbies at that time creating content. So there was a lack of experience, you know. So, you know, a lot of people were caught up in that. I remember a lot of people used to say, it's trucking, this is how they would prevent. Trucking is a $875 billion a year business. Everything move on a truck. That's true. Everything do move on a truck, but it's still competitive and you still have to understand cost. It's still based on supply and demand. It's ebbs and flows. It's business. Just because it's an $875 billion a year business don't mean that, you know, everybody's going to be successful and profitable. That's industry wide. There's a lot of different players in this industry outside of people that drive box trucks. And just because that's the amount of money that's generated doesn't mean everybody's going to be profitable. It's people that win the lottery and be broke in a couple years. There's multi-millionaire, mega millions winners, and what's the other one? Powerball winners, and they go broke. You know why? Because they didn't know how to manage money. Just because it's an $875 billion a year business, how they used to promote it, they promoted it. They kept saying that in a way where, you know, it's plenty money out here. You're gonna make money. That don't mean shit. You know, so don't mean nothing. It's lottery winners that go broke every day. We talking about 9-figure lottery winners, hundreds of million. Look at the one guy that won that Powerball for like $500, $600, $700 million. That dude was getting robbed every other day. The prostitute stole money from him. He had $500,000 in the car, and the prostitute stole money from him. They was fucking getting drunk at bars in town and getting robbed, all type of shit. It was story after story on that guy. Look now, he's broke. So, yeah. So it is what it is. I got 314 from U-Haul, no problem. All in the 6,000 from U-Haul. Got to tell them it's a gasket leak. How do you feel about a 26 foot with an 11-foot clearance? You want to buy an old U-Haul truck? To do what? If you're not doing it to do moving, then I wouldn't do it because it's not dock height. The 26-foot U-Haul truck, that's custom. That's a custom patent build for a household good. The reason why U-Haul is not dock height, they custom build a box and they bumper low because it's built for a consumer rental to do their own moving. So the reason why it's low is because they want the customer to be able to step right up and into the truck. If you plan on doing like house OTR or final mile, then I wouldn't get that truck. That truck is for a household goods renter. Now, if you're gonna start a moving company, then yes, that'll be fine as a good starter truck. But OTR or final mile, no. If I won 50 million in the lottery, I would hire a lawyer to receive it. I would invest 50 million, so I get 25 million. I would invest 20 million of it. The other 5 million, I would keep $1 million. I'll keep like $1.5 million, $2 million. And then the other 2.5 million, I would set up my friends, and that'll be the end of that. So 2.5 million, just 2.5 million to set up my friends. I would keep 2.5 million just in cash to do some whatever, Obviously, I would have to do some shit, move some people around, right? So even the 2.5 million I'm keeping is not for me. It's to set certain people up, move them around, get them up out the way, right? And then the other 20 million I would invest. No private jet. For what? Mm-mm. I wouldn't need a private jet because I'm not moving around like that. I think that's a waste of money unless you like somebody that's on the move, like a Beyonce and a Jay or a Taylor Swift or a person who's always on the go, like an entertainer because you getting booked all over the place. Then nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So just I think when people win the lottery, they do dumb shit, bro. Most of the people that win the lottery, they ain't never really had nothing, bro. So when they get that money, they splurge. They splurge on all the shit that they never had, and they just get carried away with it. They don't have no discipline, and then before you know it, it's gone. So if I played the Mega Millions and I won today, I've had shit. I have shit. I'm accustomed to nice things in a certain way of life, and mentally, I'm financially literate. A lot of people that win the lottery, they're not financially literate at that time, right? So and I'm older. So I'm not saying there's older people because that guy was older that was fucking around with them prostitutes and shit, but he was a middle American. So he wasn't used to like the bad chicks and all that shit. I think he would start snorting cocaine and all type of shit, bro. Like you win that type of money, you start using. I mean, he had to be using drugs already, bro. He had to be using drugs. He had to be using drugs already. He had to be. Who said I withdrew anything? What are you talking about, ARS? Who said I withdrew anything? I haven't withdrawn anything. Who said I withdrew anything? When you ever heard me say I withdrew anything? I never withdrew anything. Who said I withdrew anything? Oh yeah, I'd do that, sure, with the 2.5 that I kept. But that's what I'm saying. I would put 2.5 aside for friends, and then I would have 2.5 for that. That's pretty much the only thing that I still got an open balance on is that. Everything else is for the most part paid. For the most part, So then the other 2.5 for friends is to set them up, pay off their mama's houses, set them up so that, retire them, get them something as far as a business to do, set them up, get them out them trucks and shit, semi trucks and shit, set them up, and that's about it. So shit, oh, it was strippers. I knew it was one of them. All right, that's it. All right, man. To the gym and errands I go. Nobody called in, so phone line off. That set you up with what? Would you set me up? Set you up with what? You don't want me to set you up, big dog. You don't want me to set you up. You want me to set you up, bro? Come on now. Set you up? Set you up? What you talking about, bro? You don't want me to set you up, big. Set you up. Type of setup you talking? Type of setup you talking about? All right, man. It's the temperature, bro. 0 degrees. Hit these streets. Oh, you talking about like set my? I thought you meant set you up, like set you up, set you up. Talking about set them up? Yeah, I would set them up. I don't play the lottery though, bro. So shit, that ain't gonna happen. I don't play the lottery. I don't play the lottery, bro. I don't know what the Mega Millions is. I don't know what the Powerball is. I don't play it. I don't keep up with it. So it wouldn't happen anyway because I don't play. You got to play to win, and I don't play. So we just gonna keep getting it the old fashioned way, bro. Making the money work for you. Making smart investments, moving the money around, making smart investments, and doing it that way. the way that most people do it. We don't want to be one of them people going to the liquor store, standing in line with a bunch of numbers. All right, let me get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plan to pick 3. Let me get 1, 2, 3. Let me get triple 1 straight. Let me get 4, 5, 6 straight. Let me get 7, 5, 8 box. Let me get $100 on 4, 5, 6 straight. Let me get $100 in quick picks. And let me get $100 Mega Million in quick picks. And I heard this. I seen this in a dream. Give me triple sevens, straight, and then give me triple sevens box, or give me 1, 2, 3 box. Hell no, bro. Shit. I mean, my grandma had a dream book back in the day. Shit. See, I'm an old school person, bro. I'm an old school person. This is too much for these comments. How you celebrate your birthday? Shit, it depends. Nowadays, shit, I don't know. I wanted to go. And I probably will go. I'll tell y'all when I come back. I don't tell people shit like that. I just do it. You don't need nobody knowing my whereabouts. Did I get all the questions? Yeah, straight box. Straight box. That's what it is. I'm saying box, straight box. See, Kevin, you played a lottery, see? You right, straight box. Yeah, I can't. You seeing people at the lottery machine standing in line waiting to play that shit, bro, with all their money, bro. I knew somebody who was addicted to that shit. So, yeah. All right, let me turn off the phone lines. Let me get my ass up out of here, man, so I can get to the gym. Phone line off. You turn the link off. Turn that off. You got a cousin addicted to sports betting. Should invest in Zillow. I have a cousin addicted to sports betting, materialistic, don't realize money is just a tool. Yeah, man, you gotta hit the Discord, man. That wall, bro. The wall. That wall pissed a lot of people off last year. I remember that wall went up, man. A lot of people got mad, bro. A lot of people. Hey, man, nothing stays the same forever, big dog. Shit changes. Nothing stays the same forever, bro. Shit gotta change, man. That guy came in at the beginning and did all that talking. I don't understand, bro. Like, why people be upset? Shit that they can't control. That's why people be. I don't know if y'all noticed it was just me. A lot of people dying in their 50s now, bro. Pretty much everybody that I knew that died last year, and even the one person that I know that has died already this year, and this is still the first month of the year, is 50 something. Everybody I knew died last year was, for the most part, was in their 50s. And the one person that I know that has died this year already was 55. It seemed like 50s is the new 80s as far as people passing, bro. So like the guy that was in here earlier, like, bro, like, you know, if you're gonna invest into something or get into something that you're gonna have to worry about, I say find something else to do, bro. Worrying will kill you. Worrying will lead you to an early grave. Can't worry about things that you can't control, you know. And I don't, you know, not everybody is meant to be rich. Not everybody is meant to be upper middle class. Not everybody is meant, you know, to live a life of luxury. Sometimes you got to get in where you fit in, but if you want those things, then you got to do what you need to do to acquire them. And more times than not, like the guy earlier, he said some shit that, you know, was very questionable. And it all led back to what I said, choices and decisions. So it is what it is. Shit, you know, I'm not gonna never worry about no shit that I can't control. And I damn sure ain't gonna let I ain't gonna let nobody uh like he said come into his life and he already made his money and retired and then have to go back out to work to take care of them. Nah, fuck that shit. That's that like I said, that's a choice and decision he made. Shit, a lot of stress and anxiety. Yep, a lot of stress and anxiety, and people put that shit on themselves. That's just it. You said you gonna send me a package. I'm gonna remember you when I get to the top. You gonna send me a package. You'll make the fourth person. I never received a package, but I got three nice. Since I've been doing content, I got three nice, really nice emails, like really nice ones that really stood out. The one that stood out the most was a guy who made 1.7 million. He said he followed everything that I said. I never talked to him. He just sent me a very long. It was a DM like about a year and a half, about a year and a half ago. It was a very long DM, very well thought, put together, and he just talked about his journey into and throughout the space, and it said he never said nothing, but he analyzed everything I said, and he took everything that I said, and he said in the first year, 2 years, he made $1.7 million. The year he sent it to me, he said he made $1.7 million that year. And he said he just wanted to thank me for the value and the information. And it was a long, long written message, really heartfelt. And he just said he wanted to express his gratitude. He did it in that message. So, yep. So I've gotten like 3 of them in 4 years. So yep. So, all right. Let me hit these streets bundled up. All right, man. I'm out. Peace.